Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Am I wearing the right shirt for this? I'm not sure if I'm wearing the right shirt for this or not. You let me know. All right. This was a deep episode. A lot of surprises in this one. Seriously, I didn't expect them to go in certain ways on this. It's not saying a whole lot, but because like who the hell am I? But a lot of interesting ways to go in this. Um, at the end of the day, right now, so far, John Walker doesn't seem like a bad guy. I'm going to let you know right offhand that unit patch, he went to war with one of those, with that unit that, uh, as far as what was on his uniform, from what I could see, he was definitely airborne. He's a captain. He's got the 2 bars, the butter bars. Um, what do you call it? I think he had a unit patch on his left shoulder also, meaning that's the unit that he's currently with, which is not the unit that he went to war with. When you go to war, that unit patch switches to your right side. As long as you were, I think it's there if you're there at all. Anyway, I don't know what the designation of that unit was. It might have been a completely fictitious one. I haven't seen all of the units. I did a really quick, breeze, like, army patches, and just I couldn't tell which one it was. But if somebody does know what it was, by all means, please allow me. Please let me know. Um, bow. So anyway, he is currently a captain in the U.S. Army. He was on the football team. Basically, your all-American, bread and butter, white bread, whatever guy. I was at first. I'm a little bit like, I kind of understand, and maybe I'm just making this up in my head, but his girlfriend is black. And I looked at that right away and I'm like, hmm. So they gave him a black girlfriend because most of us are going to hate him just by looking at him, right? Because he's replacing Captain America. He's not the one that we want to replace Captain America. He's the bad guy. He's got to be the bad guy, right? So instead, and of course, the idea that like those of us who are comic book fans, we know he's got a couple problems here and there, right? But all of a sudden a black girlfriend walks in. It's like, huh, maybe he's not so bad after all. Because if they're going to mention that, they're just, it's the idea that at the end of the day, black girlfriend walks in, you're right away. The first thing you start thinking is, this person is not racist, right? Could be racist, could be. I mean, we what do you call it? I'm not what do you call it? There's a funny thing that I always say. If you call somebody, if you call, like, let's say a white person, whatever, if you call this person a racist, and then he's just like, uh-huh, and then like the black girlfriend or wife comes walking in, it's not to say that he's not a racist, but that doesn't look good for your argument. Like that just usually that puts the kibosh on that argument and with the quickness. Um, but then all of a sudden, Lamar Hoskins comes walking in. Also, as soon as I saw Hoskins on his, I'm like, they got Battle Flag. Holy crap, they got Battlestar. I cannot believe. So that's what, and he actually showed up. This is his first, movie, whatever MCU appearance as Battlestar. That is freaking amazing. So I'm loving on that. In the comic books, these two were given the Power Broker serum. I have a feeling they're still going to get that at some point. So, to lay this on the line really quick, Captain America, the first person to get the super soldier serum. Now, in the comic books, it was retconned with Red, White, and Black. The comic book, Red, White, and Black, issue 1 of, I believe, 6. That's being retconned in the MCU because that's where we got the first appearance of Isaiah Bradley, who was technically the original Captain America before Captain America. Because the comic book, it deals with a lot of race and whatnot. And it's an amazing comic book. This is the character who the U.S. government basically said, well, we want to see if the super soldier stuff is, super soldier serum stuff is any good. So let's try it out on a black guy first, like the Tuskegee Airmen experiments, right? With the syphilis and all that stuff. They always want to do some tests. And why would you use a white person first back during that time period? This was 1951 or, the year before, whatever, which makes a lot of sense, right? It aligns perfectly with that. So I know there's going to be a bunch of people just like, why do they have to bring race into it? Well, the reason why they have to bring race into it is because us comic book fans would be pissed if they didn't, because that's what was in the comics and it was done really, really well. Guys, if nothing else, these shows, which are fun to watch, you're way better off going and grabbing the comic books also. Think about the idea that everything Wanda and Vision, WandaVision, completely sold out at the distributor level once the WandaVision television series got to around episode 4 or 5. Suddenly people were just like, holy crap, and it's just completely sold out distributor level. That's what I'm hoping it does, the exact same thing with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, because right now this is a really amazing television series. It's playing it so close to the bone to the comic book, and I'm loving it. So many details in here, a couple of differences, but I'm going to get to more of that in a minute. So, um, it's interesting that this new version of Captain America already has merchandise out. Like as he's running down, he's the good old boy, and he's running down the battlefield, or the football field, and high fives with his buds and whatnot. And he's going up and he's doing the really quick autographs. Got a shield in this hand, man. So he's doing autographs. And at one point, the one person has his merchandise, like a big figure of him. This is where it gets really shady. Look, I know a lot of people in the previous episode were like, hey, Falcon, Sam Wilson, he didn't want to pick up the shield, right? Yeah, but they didn't even ask him. It wasn't even like one of those things where it's like they told him, hey, listen, we're going to grab somebody else if you're not going to do it. It's the idea of the courtesy, of the respect. He didn't get to pass this off. The shield was given to him. They didn't bother saying anything, and then he just turns the shield in. And it's like, but if he's already got merch, I don't know if Marvel planned this or not, but this is just one of the things that I catch. They already had merchandise. This guy, y'all remember? It took forever for us to get Baby Yoda. Here's this little mother fathead right here. Do you know how many months it took to get Yiddle merchandise? That's right, his name is Yiddle. F that Grogu crap. Yiddle. Do you know how long? Force power. Do you know how long it took to get merchandise for this guy? Because they didn't know if it was going to sell. So after the first episode of The Mandalorian, where all of us are like, I need a Baby Yoda toy. It took, what was it, 4 months? It was like 4 months and this was one of the first waves. Now it's all over the stores and with shirts and all this stuff, but like it took months for this to come out. So you can't tell me they didn't already have a plan. Sit down there and don't play with my balls. Anybody who watched The Mandalorian knows where that's from. Anyway, so anyway, the idea that they already have merchandise for this guy, that was shady AF, man. That is just messed up. They come out, they already have merchandise for this guy, so they knew what they were going to do from the beginning. And that's the thing that gets me. They knew from the get what they were planning on doing. Wow, mother fatheads. This version, the first thing I started thinking of was Soldier Boy. Guys, I am super glad. I'm going to explain that in a hot. I am super happy right now that U.S. agent. This basically eventually he should become the U.S. agent, right? The idea that John Walker comes out before Soldier Boy from The Boys season 3. We know in The Boys season 3, right? The version of The Boys, Garth Ennis, the Boys' version of Captain America is Soldier Boy, and he's got his own problems and whatnot. And I'm really happy that this series came out before that series came out, because it would have affected our interpretation of this character, how we viewed him. So I'm glad this version came out first, and plus way much older character than Soldier Boy. So yay, guys, don't forget, I'm going to get to the comments in a little while. Excuse me. No, I hear you, Derek. Sorry, I'm going to get to a thing in a minute. I hear you with the merch thing. No, they weren't making The Mandalorian during a pandemic. You get what I'm saying? That stuff was filmed, and then they started getting into post-production. Like that series was done long in advance. So no, no. At worst, 2 months for that stuff to come out. But anyway, so yeah, he's just a good old boy, but he went to, talking about U.S. agent, he went to MIT. He did his body at MIT. He's the first person to get 3 medals of honor. This is one of those things where I'm a little bit weirded out by it. One, you can't deny this guy's a hero. He got 3 medals of honor. That's sick. There are few people, very few people, who got 2 Medals of Honor. So yes, you can get more than one. My favorite example is Smedley Butler. Anybody who's familiar with the book War is a Racket, it's a very, very thin book. Like you can count the number of pages on like hands and feet practically. War is a Racket by General Smedley Butler won 2 Medals of Honor. Guy's amazing. You got to remember, most Medals of Honor are released posthumously. You know what I'm saying? So after somebody dies, that's when they're finally finished with the paperwork and the proofs and the fact finding and all this stuff in order to actually give somebody a Medal of Honor. So no, it wasn't a prototype. Derek, damn it, it was a fan in the freaking thing and the whatnot. Like, did you watch the show? Did you watch the show? It was freaking like it was a fan who was just in the stadium talking about, hey, will you sign my thing? Was that it might as well have had a price tag on it. Still inside the box. You don't put a prototype inside of a box. Come on, damn it. I'm ignoring this. I'm ignoring the freaking comment section for a minute. Anyway, so we finally get that line about androids, aliens, and wizards. I love that. And the thing that's so cool about that is in the MCU military, that's a line that's there because after he does that, remember when Isaiah Bradley and what's his name? I'm going to get into this. When not Isaiah Bradley, when U.S. agent, I keep saying U.S. agent, when the new version of Captain America, John Walker, is in the Jeep and he's looking back and there's Bucky and Falcon and they're walking and he's just like, hey, jump in. Hey, we know this, some of the big three. It's like, what, the big three? You know about the big three? Like they're talking about the big three. It's like, so that's a thing that's in the military right now. So hands down, I love that. I absolutely love that. Also, who was it who mentioned, crap, I forget who it was who mentioned, but I think it was Cryptid. I can't remember, but really solid, good call that Lieutenant Torres that was in this episode and especially the previous episode, that's probably the kid who grows up to be the new version of the Falcon. Hot, solid. I miss that. Good catch. Really good catch on that one. He's got the frame for that also. Really good catch on that one. Credit where credit's due, man. I love that. Here's something that I found a little bit weird. Bucky was impatient even after he was chastising Sam for not having a plan, right? Like that's a little bit weird, but he was all impatient and whatnot. Not a totally big fan of that. Bucky's always struck me as the type in the comics before current comic books, and even in the old school MCU, not too long ago in the MCU, like the first Captain America, the first Avenger movie, that he was a lot more patient than that, but whatever. I guess, I got a vibranium arm. Let's go. And it was a really good thing. I loved it when he was like, oh, look at you. You spent some time in Wakanda and all of a sudden you're the White Panther. And he's just like, actually, it was called the White Wolf. And he's like, wait, what? How much must it kill Sam that Bucky is more in with Wakanda than he is? It's like they gave you a name. And those of us who read the comics, back in the day, the Christopher Priest comics, we know how important that White Wolf name is because that's actually the adopted brother of Black Panther, T'Challa. So to pass that name over to him, that was, I'm going to say that's a pretty bold move, but I'm digging on that. Red Wing got busted by that chick who, I'm telling you right now, never underestimate a woman, especially if it's in the MCU, because forget about it. All that, she just grabbed it and she was like, bam, and Bucky's all sorts of jacked up. He's like, you know how long I've wanted to do that for? That was some great moments. That was really good stuff. We also find out who she is in a minute. I can't wait to get to that one, but all of a sudden, John Walker and Battlestar Hoskins Lamar Hoskins comes jumping down, and they start going after the guys. So we actually have the new version of Captain America and Battlestar already in action. I'm loving this. Oh, plus the ranks were actually perfect because if if the new Captain America actually is a captain, he has the 2 bars. The person who's usually hanging out with the captain is typically a sergeant major. That's three chevrons, three rockers, so 3 up, 3 down, and the star in the middle, which is exactly the rank that Hoskins is. That's pretty cool. I'm digging on that. That is especially cool. Um, anyway, so there's the big fight. You get to see that John Walker actually understands the shield. He knows how to use the shield. Like he's really good with it. So I'm digging on that. But they do not have any version whatsoever of the super soldier serum. They're regular human beings, shown by the idea that the biggest feat of strength that John Walker did was he's holding on the side of the freaking truck and he's just like trying to get up and he can't. Captain America would have been like, 2 fingers, boop, I'm up. With that, let's go. And he had to be like, and pull himself up really quick. That was a big mistake. Uh-oh. Ah! I love it. I love it. Like he's a tough guy because it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's about how many times you get back up. And he really portrays that. So that's really cool. And let's be realistic. The same thing that made Captain Marvel heroic, the same thing that made, if a little bit boring, but nonetheless heroic, the same thing that makes Steve Rogers heroic is the same thing that hopefully is going to wind up making this cat heroic also. We have to see him being heroic because at some point there has to be the fall. I'm expecting at some point he's going to wind up getting injected with, volunteering to be injected with the power broker serum at some point. More on that in a hot minute, because he needs that. He's going to realize that he and Battlestar, they don't have a chance unless they have the equal grounds. Like this, they had their super soldier serum. This is my version of super soldier serum, the power broker, and just don't take those pills that come with it. I'm going to get into that in a minute. So they talk about the Global Repatriation Council, the GRC. Very cool. Because if you got the flag smashers who are against these guys, the people from the blip being repatriated, getting taken care of, you have to have the people who are on the opposite side who are trying to help these people. It's like, oh, we retired your social security number, maybe gave your social security number to somebody else at some point. It probably won't happen inside of 5 years, but it's not the point. It's the idea that here's a lot of people who disappeared. We were all considered dead. Death certificates. We have to get people to remove those death certificates. We have to get people to give you back your social security number, or at the very least a different one. We have to do something to hook you guys up, get them back in the system and everything, get their driver's license back, help these people out. That's absolutely mandatory. You can't expect these people to do it by themselves. It simply wouldn't work, and the place is in chaos. Get everybody back on their feet as quickly as possible, and then we're good, right? Meanwhile, on the flip side of that, we see, what do you call it? Carly Morgenthau. Carly Morgenthau is the chick that that Falcon, that everybody, Bucky first, wound up underutilizing, not realizing, not paying attention to the fact that this could be a threat, right? Now, the original character of the Flag Smasher in the comic books, all right, he's this big dude. In fact, let me show some of you guys, just because this is live and whatnot, and some of you guys I know aren't going to know who this guy is. Nope, not him. Okay, right there. Is this a good picture? That's a crappy picture with all due respect, but you know what? Let me bring that picture up. Let me come on over here and let me share my screen. Share right there. That is what the Flag Smasher looks like in the comic books. It's got his big old mace. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a big, mean mother fat head. And he's ridiculously strong, naturally very skilled. It's not exactly easy for Captain America to take him out, but he's Captain America, so he takes him out. You know what I'm saying? And this was another character created by Mark Gruenwald, you know what I'm saying? Just like John Walker and all these other characters. So I'm digging on it. Now, his real name, the original Flag Smasher from the comics, his real name is Carl Morgenthau. So you add an I to the end of the first name, Carly Morgenthau. Okay, so you just gender swapped somebody. I ain't mad at it. Whatever it is, what it is. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it coming. I'm cool with it. Whatever. Plus, I might understand why they're choosing to change the name to Carly instead of Carl, just because. I'm going to get to that in a minute. She says at one point, oh, and no, this is not the sister or the daughter. To the best of the knowledge that we have, Carl Morgenthau did not have any siblings. He was not married. There was none of that stuff. He was just an anarchist, you know. Anyway, she and all the other people in the of the Flag Smashers, when they find sanctuary in the the little place, they start saying one world, one people, one world, one people. That's their mantra. It's funny how that sounds so unifying. Meanwhile, they're talking about getting rid of literally half of the population of the world. One world, one people, just not you people. Sounds a lot like Animal Farm, right? Oh, all animals are created equal, but some animals are simply created more equal than others. Wow. That's fussed. That's genuinely fussed. Um, so now we switch over and we actually get to meet Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley, like I said, is the first original Captain America. His first appearance is in Red, White, and Black. Truth, Red, White, and Black. Issue number 1 of, like I said, I believe 6. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. He in the Marvel comics, he appeared beforehand. In this particular scene, he appears after the fact. So Captain America was the first, Steve Rogers was the first super soldier, but the second super soldier apparently was Isaiah Bradley in the MCU. So okay, cool. I'm good with that. And the person who was, and he still has the powers and whatnot, like he's still super strong, and boom. Apparently he went behind the lines when Bucky was still the Winter Soldier, and he was one of the, maybe the only person who's actually able to take down the what do you call it, Winter Soldier, ripped off his arm, jacked it up, and everything like that. So okay, cool. I'm down with it. I'm 100% down with it. I love it. And he's just pissed off him and he just hates him and whatnot. And there's a little racism there. They are in Baltimore, Maryland, after all. I got an offer to teach in Baltimore, to be a math teacher in Baltimore, and I decided to go to Saudi Arabia because it was I'm talking like 15 times the amount of money that I was going to get paid for working in Baltimore. Maybe I could have made a difference and done some good down there. I don't know. Maybe I also would have gotten killed down there. Honestly, I don't know. But Baltimore is a really bad place, and I know teachers who took the job down there, and yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. I wanted making like 10 to 15 times more money in Saudi Arabia teaching English instead. We all go the direction that we're going to go, man. You roll the dice, bang. So anyway, what's especially interesting about it, I don't know how many of you guys caught it. They never mentioned the name of that kid that was there, but he looked like he was probably the grandson of Isaiah, which would make him Eli Bradley, the Patriot. We've got another first appearance of a young Avenger. Brah. Brah. So I'm digging this stuff, man. I'm 100% digging this stuff. Afterwards, there's that police scene. There is the obvious racism there. Just, it is what it is. It's Baltimore. I don't care what side of the fence you are. I don't feel like having that conversation, but it is Baltimore. What do you call it? Majority black neighborhood. One of those neighborhoods that on average, you're usually not even going to see the police. And yes, there are areas of Baltimore where the police, for the most part, just don't go without backup. You do notice that a second car showed up with the quickness, you know what I'm saying? And you see a black guy and a white guy arguing, and right away, what are they doing? Calm down, calm down. He's raising his voice, but like, dude, it's not that bad. Calm down, calm down. I've had cops say calm down to me too, but that's usually once they realize that I'm an Italian. Anyway, but with Bucky, like, sir, are you okay? Like, are you kidding me? And then they realize Avengers, I am so sorry. I am so sorry for this. Wow. Bucky does wind up getting arrested because he missed his therapy session, and that was court mandated, probably military court mandated. Like, so it makes perfect sense. Actually, probably even higher than that, in a certain regard, because we're talking Sokovia Accords. They wanted this dude dead, at least off just in jail to rot forever. They wanted him dead. So that makes one. I was literally, when he got on that plane to Germany, I'm thinking, why would you do this? You're gonna miss your therapy session, dude. Anyway, and it happened. Dr. Rayner goes and brings both of them in there. Sam works for the military, even though he's saying that he's private. Yes, you could still be an asset and you're private and this, that, and the other thing. But at the end of the day, it's funny that he and Bucky were both called assets by John Walker at some point. It is interesting though, because she did say, Bucky, get in here. And then she actually turned around and she yelled at Sam, get in here. I mean you too, now. And he listened. She is high-ranking military. I do, and if Sam is working for the military, he would have to listen. So at first I'm thinking, you can't do. I'm like, wait a second, no, she's military. Yeah, he would probably have to listen. He would probably have to listen. Him getting up and leaving, if she would have said, get your ass back down, then he would have had to sit his ass back down. I'm a little bit mad at Sam because Bucky actually opened up and he had a moment there. He actually showed a wound. He showed a moment of weakness there. He's like, if you return the shield, and that means that maybe that means that Steve was wrong about you. And if he's wrong about you, maybe that means that he was wrong about me. And like that is heartbreaking. That is heart wrenching. Like, you see it? Do you see my heart? Like that was, oh man, that was sad. Wow. And I'm pissed that Sam, mind you, before anybody says anything, Sam, who when we first met him in the Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Captain America 2, what was he doing as a civilian? He was doing therapy sessions for veterans, for former veterans. I'm saying I think that Sam damn well should have known better. And it's not cool that he just turned around and is like, well, I'll never have to see you again. Right away, you see Bucky has to put his armor back up. He has to put his shell back up. And that's just not cool, man. Like that vibranium just went all over his body at that point. It's like he went up like freaking like Diamond Lil or Emma Frost going diamond form. Like he had to put his armor back up because freaking Sam, that was an absolute dick move for a guy who used to actually counsel soldiers. Absolute dick move. There is no excuse for Sam. None. None. Anyway, they all get ready to leave and do what they're doing. Bucky on his way out, he says back to the doctor, Dr. Rayner, and I don't see anything that's in there. What do you call it? He says, Dr. Rayner, I don't see any connection to the Marvel universe, like the comics in this regard. But anyway, he says, "Hey Doc, what was that second rule again?" And she says, "Don't hurt anyone." So I think that what I can interpret from that, I feel like she hurt him, and definitely Sam hurt him. He was hurt, like you could tell he was hurt. And then his feelings were completely trampled on. And just like that, I'm saying. Okay, so towards the end when the Flag Smashers are trying to get out of there, they start talking about they're trying to run from Power Broker. Carly Morgenthau actually gets that message. Now we know in general, like the group at least, not the individual, but the group says, "You stole from me. I'm going to kill you." Okay, that's messed up. And it's an unknown number. So he's just like star 17ing her or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, screw you. You know who I am. Anyway, they start talking about how they whatever stole from Power Broker. So Power Broker in the comics, at the very least, look, anybody who read the Thing comic book, one of the greatest characters on the face of creation, the Thing, Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four, yeah, that guy. He had a really cool suit at this point. It was a wife beater tank top kind of thing. It was all black with a little orange stripe on, and the pants, like the boxer shorts. He was in the unlimited weight class wrestling, whatever it was called, a wrestling thing in the Marvel universe, and it was only for superpowered people. And pretty much every single one of those wrestlers got augmented from Power Broker, the Power Broker Incorporated. This is a group that under here the Dr. Malice. It looks like Malice, but it's like malice. He's got a lot of malice in his heart, but it's spelled like M-A-U-L, M-A Malus, anyway, something like that. Dr. Malice. He, by the way, it's Carl Malice also. So that's why Carl Morgenthau becoming Carly Morgenthau. I can understand if they're going to keep Dr. Carl Malice. I understand because you don't need two Carls in the same thing. Anyway, he invented the power broker formula. I think it was called not the Infinity formula. That was Nick Fury. I can't remember what it was called. The power broker serum, whatever. It was supposed to be like a version that was based off of a version that was based off a version that was based off a version of the super soldier serum. You got to understand how important the super soldier serum is to the Marvel universe, especially the Ultimate Universe. But in this particular case, just um, the Marvel universe, that the comic books as it stands, they were always trying to replicate that because they made Captain America. It's like you don't need to improve on that. Let's just make more of that. Say we can improve on it once we can actually replicate it again. Luke Cage, he actually got a version of the super soldier serum also. Dr. Bernstein, whatever. Anyway, was that Seagate Prison? Anyway, he got his own version of that, right? And these guys, the power brokers, they did also. Now, we sometimes we like to say that, oh, they're technically more powerful than Captain America. No. A lot of these formulas, much like, and this is one of the reasons why I say that Captain America is very rarely ever used properly, right? What's his name? Jack Kirby, one of the two creators, along with Joe Simon, the creators of Captain America. They understood Captain America, right? Stan Lee understood Captain America. Grunwald definitely understood Captain America. There's a few people who understand Captain America really well. What the hell's his name? Who made Bucky into the Winter Soldier? Him also. A bunch of people they'll understand, but a lot of people don't understand Captain America. What is the reason why? The main reason why the Super Soldier Serum is far superior than Luke Cage's serum or the power broker stuff. Luke Cage, he's bulletproof. Like his skin is impenetrable, for the most part. So like all these different things. Why is it that you're saying that Captain America's super soldier serum is better? Well, because Steve Rogers' super soldier serum was not just physical. It also increases his mind. It increases his reaction time, his reflexes. That's not just the physicality of it, but his ability to perceive things faster, right? To get that, the information. Brubaker, thank you, Corey. The information that comes in through his five senses. Well, we have like 15 senses, but anyway, that comes in through all of our standard senses. He processes them so much faster. I've often argued that Captain America is not as smart as Tony Stark, but he is absolutely a genius. He is 100% undeniably a genius. He just doesn't apply himself to the sciences or to literature or anything like that. That's just not what he does. He applies himself to saving people and military strategy and all sorts of things like that, right? Learning languages. He knows multiple languages. Like he does the things that are going to help him for the mission. The super soldier serum is better than Luke Cage's serum and power broker and any of the other serums out there, specifically because, and that includes Black Widow's serum, because it also affects the mind in a positive way. And for the most part, none of the other serums work on that level or work on the mind also. That's one of the reasons why it's the absolute hands down best out there. In fact, it was only when they realized that they were never going to be able to replicate that they said, let's start doing Weapon 10, right? Wolverine, Weapon X. So let's just use mutants instead and stuff like that. Anyway, so, and now the comics make it so that's not even the case anymore. He wasn't the first anymore. Sometimes retcons aren't a good thing. Donny Cates coming along. It's like Swamp Thing was a weapon 4 or something like that. It's like, you need to sit down, sir. But anyway, so that's what power broker is. And in the comic books, they actually also gave you something that's supposed to keep the system going. It's like, oh, the injection alone should have been enough and then you're done. But they say, oh, also take these pills to make sure that it stays at max performance. Well, in reality, when you take those pills, the only thing they do is make you addicted to the pills. So you have to keep coming back to him for more pills. So he gives you the power broker serum, and you're like super strong, super endurance, pretty damn fast, all that good stuff. But the pills make it so that you're addicted. So he's basically just a drug dealer who gives you a superpower and then says, but now you're gonna have to keep coming to me for, this stuff. And if you don't listen to me, well, then you're screwed. Think about Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. Yes, just like that. I went Queensryche, baby. How many other comic book guys can go Queensryche level? Hells yes. Operation Mindcrime. So at the end, they decide we're going to go and talk to Zemo. Okay, I am looking forward to this. Zemo's in his prison. He's listening to some classical music. He's playing some chess. He's sitting there meditating and reflecting on, and when you think about it, he's a very, not just a twisted individual, but he's ridiculously smart. Think about it. It's because of him manipulating all the problems. So, like psychologically, where he's at, strategically, where he's at, his research, his connections, his vicious killing cycle. Zemo, when you think about it, was insane with what he was doing with this, in Captain America 3 Civil War. He got the heroes to fight each other is because of what he was doing, that the Sokovia Accords, all that stuff. And what else did he have access to? He had access to, I think it was 5 other super soldiers. And he just destroyed them because, like, I don't need these abominations running around. That alone would have been, if all of a sudden he got Bucky and Captain America there and Iron Man there, and here's 5 super soldiers and they're whooping on their asses, that alone would have been enough. You just took out 2 of the big 3. Like, you got access to super soldiers? We dead. We're screwed, you know? But he had access to that. So what else does he have access to? What else does he know about in all of his research and what he was trying to do and whatnot? So I'm looking for what he's capable of doing to whoop everybody's booties. I'm also looking forward to where the MCU is going with this, because we did have other super soldiers before. Reconfirm that, and that was in Captain America Civil War. Reconfirmed with Isaiah Bradley. How far does the rabbit hole go, right? We've got all these different versions of the super soldiers. So the big question is, what does Zemo know? What's actually out there? I expect Sharon Carter to show up in the next episode because, things. I'm going to scroll up a little bit and let's take a couple questions. Once I'm done with the questions, I'm leaving because I got work to do, man. Did anyone catch the, was it who played Isaiah Bradley was the Mantis? I don't know. Oh Lord, police scene was all too real. Like a Key and Peele scene. That therapist lady kind of pissed me off. She's, you know what? She's a military therapist though. And I've never had to go to a military therapist. And I'm glad I haven't, because I have heard the stories. They're all jerks, because at the end of the day, it can't be are you okay? Would you like me to hold your hand? Wait a second. I've got a Jolly Rancher. Would you like a piece of candy? You know, saying Lex Luthor, shove it in your mouth and all that. It's strawberry. You like it, or cherry, whatever. Anyway, no, they have to be hard. They got to. And plus, she's dealing with her own crap also. She's not the best, but at the end, yeah, she should have done a little bit more. And yet she has to throw her weight around. Don't forget, think about Deanna Troi from Star Trek Next Generation, right? Who was the one person who could override the authority and put somebody, or not put, handpick somebody else to be in charge, but to have the next person in charge be in charge, right? If she didn't want Picard in there anymore, right? It was Deanna Troi. He's mentally unfit, and I'm going to need my boyfriend to be in charge again. Well, I guess that's conflict of interest, I would think, but okay, sure. Better than Gates McFadden being in charge there. But my point is, Marina Sirtis, right? Think about it. So yeah, they should be able to throw their weight around to a degree. Therapist had to use her mom voice. Walker's not cocky. It's just his face. He does have, Derek, he really does have that Martin Shriver face, right? That very punchable face. You see his face, you're just like, I'm a deck you. Big. The trick is, Martin Shriver, he's just going to raise the price of AIDS medicine on you. This guy will actually punch you back and throw the shield at you and then arrest you. I'm saying. So, the thing you just mentioned, Bill, shows Bucky wants to build friendship with Sam. Yeah, it seems like he really does, Core. Does U.S. Agent first Dark Avenger? Victor, I'm not sure where you're going with that. He was not one of the Dark Avengers, no. Osborn's Dark Avengers were Venom, but that was Scorpion. Mac Gargan played Scorpion. Carla, can't remember her last name. Oh God, another Carl. Carla, whatever she was Moonstone, and what do you call it? Harry Osborn was actually Norman Osborn was the U.S. Patriot. What do you call it? Yeah, Bullseye was actually replacing what's his name. Ares was the only original Avenger who was actually on that Dark Avengers team. So under Hammer. What if Power Broker and Carly are in it together? That'd be weird considering that they just killed one of them at the end of this, right? Um, Recreate the super soldier by examining Captain America's blood. It's a possibility because they have always said that it's in his blood, or at least that's what they're. Yeah, no, they have actually said specifically that the super soldier serum is in Captain America's blood specifically. So he was the only villain that he really was, right? And it's only because Black Panther was merciful. They didn't kill him. Love that album. Ed, it was an incredible album, right? Operation Mindcrime. And that's when they went on to do Silent Lucidity. Like, I think it was the very next album. So they only made it better. Here in the Now Frontier is my favorite of their albums, though. Aside from that last song, Spool, I can listen to that whole album just over and over again. Yeah, even that song, You, it's like the other songs are far superior. Anyway, Queensryche is an amazing band, dude. Jeff Tate, and yeah, wow, great band. Man, it'd be awesome if I could help in any way, catch any Easter eggs when the Ms. Marvel series comes out. Silent Night, if you can, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Any little thing, because I'm going to be watching the hell out of these. This is like the only really thing that I watch on TV that I haven't watched before. I'll watch Burn Notice. You know what I'm saying? Aside from that, I'm on the last 2 seasons of that. Aside from that, oh, guys, for the Comic Book University podcast, one of the big bits of news on there is that we actually have a date when Black Widow is going to show up, and it's going to be in the on Disney Plus. It's going to be streaming along with another show, another movie. So I'm saying lots of good news, whole lot of good news coming up. They're able to work out some deals. I'm going to go into some details with that later in the podcast, which comes out on Sunday mornings. Anywhere you find your podcast, the Comic Book University podcast. That's where you find it. All right, guys, I'm out because I'm at the bottom there. I'll talk to y'all, Gus Rodriguez. To go back, it's not bringing race into it if race is inherently part of it. It's just it's part of America. Hate to say this. I genuinely hate to say this. I don't know where else you've been in the world, but I can promise you, America and Canada are the best places to have to deal with race problems. And I'm not saying that as an excuse for, systemic racism, which does exist, not to the same level that a lot of people argue it does, but it absolutely does exist. There are a lot of problems and whatnot in America and in Canada. Hate to say it though, man. It is far, like I've been to Saudi Arabia. It's far worse. I've been to Egypt, the UAE, Kuwait. It's far worse. I've been to, well, besides Egypt, which is in Africa, like I've been to a lot of places, man, and it is worse in every other country that I've been to. I mean, to the point where it's not just like you want to talk about systemic here. Systemic means a whole different thing over there, where they can legally arrest you for not necessarily for being black, but they can literally, no, actually, yeah, they technically can. If your passport says that you're from Africa, they can arrest you for whatever damn reason they want in some countries. So I hear, and that includes if you're from South Africa, but those people don't usually get arrested if they're white. So yeah, dude, like seriously, as bad as a lot of places around here have it, I can assure you, firsthand witness, it is way worse in other countries. So yeah, believe me, it's not just America. Anyway, guys, I'm out. I'll talk to y'all later. Love, peace, and yeah. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.